son begged me to stay 5 more minutes at the park. I had no idea he was saving my life. My 4-year-old was throwing a tantrum because he wanted 5 more minutes on the swings. The divorce had been hard on him, and I was exhausted from fighting with my ex over custody schedules, so I almost just dragged him to the car anyway. But then I looked at his face, all red and tear-streaked, and I thought about how much he'd been through in the past 6 months. His whole world got ripped apart because his parents couldn't make it work. He didn't ask for any of this. None of it was his fault. So I put my keys back in my purse and said, "Okay, buddy, 5 more minutes." His whole face lit up like I'd just given him a puppy. He ran back to the swings and I pushed him, listening to him giggle every time he went high. "Higher, mommy, higher!" I kept pushing. The 5 minutes turned into 10, then 15. I wasn't even watching the clock anymore. I was just watching my son be happy for the first time in weeks. He'd been having nightmares since his dad moved out. He'd been wetting the bed again. His preschool teacher pulled me aside and told me he'd been crying at drop-off every single morning and asking when daddy was coming back. But right now, on these swings, he was just a kid again. I felt guilty for almost rushing him. I'd been so stressed about lawyers and custody papers and dividing up our entire life that I hadn't really been present with him. So I let him stay even longer. We did the slide, we did the monkey bars, he made a friend, and they chased each other around the sandbox while I sat on a bench and let myself breathe for the first time in months. When the sun started setting, I finally told him it was time to go. He didn't fight me this time. He just grabbed my hand and said, "Thanks, mommy. That was the best day ever." Those words hit me right in the chest. I buckled him into his car seat and kissed his forehead. We drove home the long way because he liked looking at the cows on Miller Road. I wasn't in any rush. Nobody was expecting us. It was just me and him now. When we turned onto our street, I saw the fire trucks first. 3 of them, lights flashing, blocking the whole road. Then I saw the smoke, thick and black, rising into the sky. Then I saw my house, or what used to be my house, completely engulfed in flames. Orange and red pouring out of every window, the roof caving in on itself, my son's bedroom window exploding from the heat. I slammed on the brakes and just stared. A firefighter ran over and asked if I lived there. I couldn't even speak. I just pointed at the address on the mailbox, the only thing still standing. He called someone on his radio and asked if anyone else was supposed to be home. I shook my head. "It's just us. It's just me and my son." My son started screaming in the backseat because he didn't understand what was happening. I didn't either. A neighbor took us in for a few hours while the firefighters finished. They said something about the fire starting in the back of the house, but I wasn't really listening. I was just holding my son, rocking him back and forth, telling him everything was going to be okay, even though I didn't believe it myself. That night, we checked into a hotel. I gave my son a bath and put him to bed and sat on the edge of the mattress staring at nothing. Everything we owned was gone. Every photo, every baby picture, every piece of our life together. I didn't even have a change of clothes for him in the morning. Around 9 o'clock, someone knocked on the door. It was a police officer. I stepped into the hallway so I wouldn't wake my son. The officer asked me if I was okay, and I told him I didn't know how to answer that question. Then he said, "Ma'am, I need to tell you something about the fire." I assumed he was going to say it was electrical, or the stove, or something I did wrong. "We found evidence of accelerant. Someone poured gasoline through your back door." I couldn't breathe. "We also found a car parked 2 streets over. The driver had been sitting there for over an hour before the fire started." He paused. "Ma'am, we arrested your ex-husband about an hour ago." The hallway started spinning. "He confessed to everything. He knew your routine. He knew exactly what time you and your son walked through that front door every single day." I grabbed the wall to keep myself from collapsing. "If you'd come home when you normally do, you both would have been inside when he lit the match." I looked back at the hotel room door where my son was sleeping peacefully, completely unaware that his tantrum over 5 more minutes on the swings had saved both our lives.